Hello everyone, Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners along with Bob Iacino. So today, much more bullish price action. Pretty decent option volume kicking in. Let me just review a couple things. Let's take a look at the daily chart first. By the way, if you're new here, please consider subscribing, ringing the bell, liking, disliking a video, and leaving a comment. That always helps. Longer term members and subscribers, please consider leaving some comments because it does help. And Patreon or buy me a coffee donation if at all financially possible for you to keep the channel going. So, I mentioned the other day, I'll answer a couple questions. This kind of candle from the 13th, don't always assume it's bullish. It depends on the location. At a bottom against key support, can be very bullish. At the top of a pattern, not so bullish. It loses a lot of its bullish. It actually becomes sort of tipping on testing into bearish. And then if you don't get much follow through the next day, it becomes more bearish. Now, we did get follow through today. We had some decent option volume. We had 70,000 of the let me look at my other screen here. 70,000 of the 750s go off, 50,000 of the 755s, 50,000 of the 760s. And then it tapered off down to 26,000 of the 765s, 25,000 of the 770s. And before that, we had 45s go off at 34,000 and 40s go off at 21,000. They really started going off today. Decent volume. We'll get into that. We had this nice little reversal with a flurry of options information. By the way, another question, what are my levels for doubles? They're all the same, and I can show you that right now. This was a double top on a 5 minutes. Harder to spot, but one top, two top, base in the middle. You can use your projections from there. Again, it's using the what's this called, the fib extension tool and the levels. I will go in there and show you exactly what I use. Oops, don't do this to me. I don't want the bar, I want this. Here we go. Here are the levels. So the first one is 0.5, second one is 0.75, third one is 1, and that's, so it's one click on the high, two clicks on the base, which means you're extending it from the base. So that's the 50%, 75%, and 100%. Now, if you do it from the shorter leg, I call it the conservative. If you do it from the longer leg, it is the aggressive. It has to be within a move, reversing it. So you can see here, nice little quick move down. Once it broke below there, I'm not just going to bother doing the next projections because we already had these 738.50 areas. You got the nice little bottoming there, and this is when we started to get some real option plays kicking in. First little bit here, taking us back up to the prior resistance. Remember to look at candle bodies. So just for intraday, you have your little resistance zone. So coming off the bottom, if you're looking for targets, let's say you were just hypothetically were a buyer down here and you're looking for a place to move up stops or take some partial profits to re-add on a potential pullback, that's a little great zone. How'd you get that? You're looking at the candle bodies. Stop focusing on the wicks. One of the greatest things you'll learn is to use candle bodies, because candle bodies, you're using the close and naturally the open, and you'll find many more key levels with that. Above there, you're going to focus on the 747 level we had identified earlier. Then we had 748.43, which went through 749.77. We had another reaction there. And we really got some nice momentum, even more volume kicking in there. What did that also provide? And oops, is it just going to give me problems today? Is it going to give me problems? Here was the next temporary level after it went through there. 751.83, then 753.54. Remember, you want to check your multiple time frames and then get it moved to a candle that's the pausing bar on the longer time frame. So this was a pausing bar on the 5 minute, and that's all you had at that point. So you can utilize that, which gave you this little reactionary level. But once we start rotating up, and this reactionary level right here, that gave you the pausing bar on the longer term level. So ratchet it up then. Move it up. Which then, really nicely, we already had that next key level, 754, 754.25 area already identified, with now the harmonic level. Look at that. Really nice pause there. Drifting sideways. Drifting sideways, letting the 8 catch up. So 8 pushing the price. 5 minute, returning to the 5 minute rotation zone. So that's the way. Let's go through this again. 15 minute. Drift sideways. Remember, you have a couple kinds of corrections. A sideways correction. So in more bullish moves, you're more likely to have sideways corrections. So this sideways correction on the 5 minute. When you see watching for 8 pushing the price on the higher time frame, watch for a return to the rotation zone on the lower time frame. Time frames, separate them by 3 to 4 times. So if you're using a 5 minute, target the 15 minute. Then don't go to 30 minute. That's only a separation of 2. 15 to 30 minutes is only a separation of 2. Go to the 60. From 60, go to 4 hour. From 4 hour, just go to the daily. At that point, that's where the sort of the rule just doesn't go as well. But on shorter time frames, use 3 to 4 periods. And then you had the larger cluster up here. Projected 756.20 and our prior level of 756.76, and look at that, topping out right there. So that's how you utilize that. Could you have bumped it up at some point? This is the next pausing bar on the 15 minute. Yes, you could have. You could have. That's why don't always just jump to the next level until, especially unless you get a really long pausing bar or you remember your old cluster, because that nice cluster before you moved it, that's why sometimes I'll leave the levels on there to overlap. I'll just draw another set, and then you might get a little wider cluster. But don't just ratchet up at all times. Learn to ratchet up if you have an extended sideways move at a key level, or if it hits the very top, and this was the top cluster. So, what do we have now? Let's take this off. Let's see what we're looking at tomorrow. I'm still leaving on these reverse harmonics that we had from yesterday. That gave us that 756 level, which was really, really nice. And I'm going to hold that. First key level is of support is the 754.26 area. You zoom in, you can see that. End of day support. We drop below that. Watch for a support zone on the shorter term basis about 752, about 751.50 to 752 right in here. That's going to be these candle bodies prior resistance and these candle bodies prior resistance, both coming support with the rising 15-minute rotation zone. Below that, you're looking, I'd really watch about the 750s and then 747. Those are your key support zones. If you drop below 747, I'm, besides using intraday levels, 747, I'm all the way back at about 738. Then that 747, we got the separation on the 4-hour rotation zone also. So that's a very key level if we do get a bigger pullback tomorrow. To the upside, 759 to 760 is our first key area. Above that, we have 764.50 to about 766 is our next target area. Above that is 771. Those are all the levels that you can clearly identify already. Holding the daily rotation zone. We talked about this with the still close above it. We finally got the bullish move. The significant resistance, don't just ignore the 760, 760.50 area. There's been some pretty heavy selling for a period of 3 days up there. So that's definitely a level to utilize at least for moving stops. But if it blows through that level, then my major level, if we have a really bullish move, is going to be this 771 area if we have a very bullish move. That's about all I have for you with Tesla, and I'll talk to everyone later. Bye for now.